Didactics of Mathematics, Task 1, presented by Diana Guevara. In this video, we will talk about mathematics education in Mexico. First, we will mention some changes that have caused education to change in Mexico. First, globalization has had a big impact on education, which has brought about transformations on both teaching and learning processes. There have been many researches and evaluations, and the results have shown that math education needs to focus on problem solving and on the development of competences that will enable students to have a better quality of life, which will increase the equality rates among citizens. Also, the Sistema Nacional de Bachilleratos, or National System of High Schools, has taken into account the different trends in education nowadays, and with that in mind, it has established a series of requirements for schools to meet in order to achieve better results in math teaching practices. There are some objectives for teachers. First of all, to teach mathematics in a contextualized form so that students are able to link what they're learning to the real life. To find a way to introduce new topics using students' previous knowledge. To find new strategies, and to find these new strategies, the idea is for them to get training by professionals in the matter, professional mathematicians. And with that in mind, with all of these new strategies, the objective is to raise interest among students to learn mathematics. There are also objectives for students. One of them is to build and interpret math models. Some of the biggest issues that have been found is the fact that students are not able to reason, to understand mathematical problems. And by them having these kinds of difficulties, it makes them difficult for them to analyze real-life situations. So, one of the objectives would be to learn how to use mathematical reasoning in the solution of everyday life problems. There are some good practices. First of all, the Mexican Mathematical Society and the Mexican Academy of Sciences have both started projects to improve teachers' training and the way mathematics is being taught in the country. There are two projects called La Ciencia en tu Escuela, or Science in Your School, and Olimpiada Mexicana de Matemáticas, or Mexican Math Olympics. To start off, we're going to talk about La Ciencia en tu Escuela. Is a program created by the Mexican Academy of Sciences. Scientists and specialists in preschool, primary, and secondary education are a part of it. The objectives are to look for alternative ways of teaching to replace traditional methodologies, to increase students' interest in math and science, and to get students involved in dynamic and experiential activities. The work plan. The program plans to achieve its objectives by providing summer camps for students, conferences, workshops, and certification programs for teachers. Certification programs for teachers. It offers on-site and virtual classes. The idea is to reach out to more teachers, so the ones that cannot attend to on-site classes, they can do it virtually. The main objective is to provide teachers with the knowledge that will enable them to improve their teaching practice. The on-site classes are carried out at UNAM. There is a total of 32 Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. They are constantly being observed by people from the program. So this is the way of how they are being evaluated. So that's why they have to put into practice what they have learned at all times. The next project is Olimpiadas Mexicanas Matemáticas, or Mexican Math Olympics. About it and the objective. It was created by the Sociedad Matemática Mexicana, or the Mexican Society of Mathematics. It is absolutely free. Students don't have to pay for registration or for the trips, because there are a lot of companies that sponsor it, which is a great opportunity for students. The objective is to promote the study of mathematics in an appealing and creative way in order to develop reasoning and imagination among young people. How are they done? Well, first, there are a series of state contests around the country, and about 190 students are selected to participate in the Olympics. The finalists of the Olympics get the chance to participate in international competitions. This year's Olympics actually is the 31st version of the Olympics. Will be held in Monterrey, Nuevo León from November 5th until the 10th. There are also other activities done by the Olimpiadas Matemáticas Mexicanas. They do an exam called Canguro Matemático, courses for teachers. They publish academic material. This is actually one of the examples of academic material. They provide books that are about different topics related with mathematics that can help the ones that want to participate in the Olympics to prepare. There's also something called SLAU magazine. This is an example of some versions of that SLAU magazine that people can find online. And this magazine was created by the Mexican Society of Mathematics to engage people in the world of Math Olympics. So the idea is to motivate students to study mathematics and also to meet the needs of teachers and students who are going to participate in math contests. Here are the references where the information was found. I hope that this information was useful, and thank you very much for watching.
Didactics of Mathematics. Tutor Claudia Patricia Munera Mora. Group 6. Participant Jose F. Cardenas. Good Practices Argentina. Concrete efforts are being made in Argentina to promote mathematics and capacity building on mathematics teaching. One experience that is worth looking at is the so-called International Problem Solving Conference and Seminar, Seminario Internacional y Jornada de Resolución de Problemas, which is held annually in coincidence with the National Mathematics Olympics, Olimpiada Nacional de Matemáticas. This annual event brings together experts from all over the world and more than 300 Argentinian teachers for a week. The Mathematics Olympics, which are one of the biggest and better mathematical competitions in the LAC region, deal with students that range from elementary school to high school. Good Practices Argentina. The Universidad de Buenos Aires, UBA, brings mathematics to the general public through its Mathematics Basic Cycle, Ciclo Básico de Matemáticas. Each year they organize elementary mathematics exhibits, muestras elementales de matemáticas, and receive school groups for a 2-day visit. The students are toured around a mathematics exhibit and get a chance to play mathematical games prepared in advance. Lectures are also held for different target audiences, like teachers, students from different levels, and the general public. Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome to this video. My name is Germán Andrés Sánchez and I am recording this video for Universidad Nacional Abierta de Distancia, especially for the course Didactics of Math. In this video, I'm going to address some good practices that the Brazilian government has been implementing in order to improve math education. The 2015 PISA result tells us that most students in Brazil, after spending many years in compulsory education, are not able to make use of math concepts and procedures to perform even basic operations and solve very simple problems. PISA stands for Program for International Student Assessment, a study to assess the performance of 15-year-old students in several countries, in 3 academic areas: reading, mathematics, and science. The interest is in assessing not only what students know in these 3 areas, but most importantly, how they apply what they learned in school to solve problems in the real world or in new contexts. The Brazilian government really looks forward to improving the results of this international assessment, and it's important to take into account the following. Teachers are the backbone of any education system. Brazil needs to support teachers by offering good training and also work to raise the status of the profession in society. It also needs to ensure good salaries, provide ways for career growth in the profession that recognize various levels of expertise, look for opportunities to reward excellence in teaching, and improve the working conditions of teachers. Finally, Brazil also needs to involve information and communication technologies in a more attractive and friendly context in which teachers can use it to improve today's education. Thank you very much for watching this video. My name is Germán Andrés Sánchez. Goodbye.
Okay, good morning. My name is Gabriel Rubio Vera. This is a work for Didactics of Mathematics. And the tutor is Claudia Patricia Munera Mora, and this is good practice about Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a very beautiful country that is located in Central America. Costa Rica is a privileged country because it is bounded by 2 oceans, Atlantic and Pacific. Costa Rica limits to the south with Panama and to the north with Guatemala. Costa Rica has one of the best educational systems in Latin America and the Caribbean, positioning very well in the international test product of its excellent educational system. Costa Rica always is in the 2 or 3 first place in education, of course. Good practice. The training of teachers in Costa Rica is very good, which means that teachers can provide quality education to students of educational institutions through to the territory of Costa Rica. Teachers in Costa Rica receive a comprehensive training in mathematics, being able to choose between developing as teachers or continuing with a degree in mathematics, ensuring quality in the training process. So, thank you so much. God bless you, and I see you the next time.
Mathematics Education in Cuba. Didactics of Mathematics, Task 1, David Rodriguez. Ford tutor Claudia Patricia Munera Mora, Universidad Nacional Abierta y a Distancia. This video will provide information on Cuba's educational history, reforms, and current practices. Cuba was colonized by Spain from the early 16th century until 1898. The University of Havana, founded in 1727, is the oldest university in Cuba and one of the oldest in the American continent. In 1900, Cuba had a relatively average literacy rate, considered one of the highest among developing countries. By the early 1900s, Cuba had a strong education system, but what kept the literacy rate low was the fact that only half of the country's children attended school. Schools were beyond the reach of the poorest Cubans and those who lived in distant rural areas, therefore dooming them to illiteracy. After the Cuban Revolution in 1959, the new government placed the reconstruction of the education system as a top priority and practically guaranteed literacy and education to every citizen by opening 817 literacy centers and even had teachers visit students in every isolated corner of Cuba. All that because at the time of the 1959 revolution, Cuba had one of the lowest levels of literacy and basic education in the region, and since then its economic development has been seriously affected by a US-imposed trade embargo. Notwithstanding the foregoing, in 1998, Cuba was ranked first in international math and reading tests by UNESCO. Cuba is one of the poorest countries in Latin America, and certainly lacks the resources of countries like Mexico, Argentina, Venezuela, Brazil, or Colombia. How could a poor and isolated small nation situated in the middle of the Caribbean have a higher educational achievement than those giants? Well, let's explore some of the practices. Cuban children excel academically for fairly straightforward reasons. Bear in mind that not one, but a combination of factors contributes to the quality of Cuban schools. Students attend schools intensely focused on instruction. Schools are staffed by well-trained, regularly supervised teachers in a social environment that is dedicated to high achievement for all. The Cuban system combines quality teaching, high academic expectations, and a tightly controlled school management hierarchy with well-defined goals and responsibilities, a combination that distinguishes Cuban education from other systems in Latin America. Public spending on education amounts to 6.7% of the gross national product, twice the proportion of many Latin American countries. Extremely low teacher-student ratio, 12 students per teacher, is half of the Latin American average. Professional development focuses entirely on pedagogy and child development. Nationwide curricula, low-cost, high-quality instructional materials, outreach to rural children, attention to special needs, system-wide evaluation and competition among classes and schools, linking school and work, education for school cohesion and values education, participation in school management, complete development of the individual, holistic education, educational programs for parents, among others. Conclusion. Although there are many problems on such a small island, the Cubans are indeed doing many things right in education. As previously mentioned, not one but a combination of factors contributes to the quality of Cuban schools, which should be replicated in order to better the education of mathematics in Latin.